This channel is supported by my online fishing courses, and you can learn more and get significant discounts at saltstrong.com/Skinner. I'll have links to all of the gear in the video description, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, John, I'm going to cast.
Go ahead.
That looks like that's bass. Yeah, probably on rain bait. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these could be hard to get the hit sometimes. There's decent sized bass in there, though. Okay, I'm with Captain John Halkias there, and hey, we've made a long run from eastern Long Island. We are off the Rhode Island coast, and we are looking for whatever. A couple storms have gone through. It's cooling off. I think we can get a little bit of a preview of what the fall run's going to look like, because we're going to see a lot of different things. The best fishing is going to actually be when we get back to Long Island. Yeah, boy, you know what the problem is? They're on that tiny bait, and they can be a bitch to get the hit.
Come behind you.
Can you shut your engines off?
Shut off?
Yeah. That's it.
What's the retrieve speed?
So, yeah, I don't know is the answer, because sometimes you have to go a little bit erratic when they're on this kind of stuff. I mean, they certainly are not jumping on. There we go. And he hit it settling.
Huh. Oh.
All right, so I was just letting it drop.
I'm on too.
All right, so.
Oh boy. Just go. Oh, mine popped. Mine popped. Let me bring up so we don't. These put Goliath on this, so
these rods are
nice bass. That's a keeper.
no. Don't get your shit together.
You got that pot right in front of us.
All over up here. Yep, they're all in front of us. They're like right in the boat. Okay, so what we were really looking for, we were hoping to find some false albacore, but hey, this is fun. We've got some bass on top. They're on very small peanut bunker, and there are acres of peanut bunker here. So this is looking really cool for the fall run. So we're going to just take it as it comes, and yeah, when they're on small bait, which these are, they can be picky. Yeah.
Nice. 30 inches?
It's definitely a keeper. Yeah, 28, 29, I guess. But the problem was, this is Labor Day weekend. There are a lot of boats. There's a lot of bait. There are fish blowing up on top, but they come up, they go down. When they come up, there's a bunch of boats on them. So we messed around with this for probably like 90 minutes or so, and only landed those two fish and saw like almost nothing caught. So we worked our way back to Long Island and got to what's really more of the main event of this. And we did not find albies, although we know somebody who did find them between Rhode Island and Long Island. And here comes law enforcement. Okay, we are in Plum Gut, which is a narrow passage of water between the eastern tip of Long Island's North Fork at Orient Point and Plum Island. Crazy structure here, goes from hundreds of feet of water to 20-something feet to hundreds. We will have a 4-knot drift, tremendous current, and let's take a look at the rigging. Okay, this will be 3-way rigging. Ignore the eel, replace that eel and hook with a bucktail. We'll look at that in a second. There's a 3-way swivel. There's about 6 feet of 80-pound leader material to the bucktail, and then a lighter piece of line, maybe a foot or so, to that cannonball sinker. Okay, this is not an application for thin bucktails. I like a bulked out profile. These are John Skinner bucktails made by S&S, and that's what I'll be using. And I'll be tipping my bucktail with an ottertail bait strip. Either that or the jig strips work well, or traditional pork rind. That's what John Halkias will be using. Now with these fast currents and changing depths, the whole point is to follow that bottom contour. You drop that rig to the bottom, you take a couple of cranks up and you hold it, but you watch the fish finder and you try to follow the bottom contour. In this area, if you drag bottom, you will snag, you will lose your rig. So as soon as you hit bottom, you have to come back up. And this is a devastating technique used by commercial fishermen for decades to load their boats with fish to sell. And yeah, it is very effective. Now, that sinker that you saw on there, that could range anywhere in these areas from probably a minimum of 6 or 8 ounces up to even 16 to 20 ounces, but there are ways to minimize that weight. You see, I've got a sinker ball there. I've got a cannonball sinker. A lot of people use traditional bank sinkers. They have a lot more drag in the water. You can cut back probably by a quarter or even more of the weight by just switching to a cannonball sinker. The other thing is, well, for years monofilament was used for this. Of course, you wouldn't do that these days. 50-pound braid is a standard. I'm using 30 braid, and that is plenty. But what I'm doing on this trip is I'm testing out my fluke rod for this kind of fishing. This is actually kind of abusive fishing for fishing rods. You'll see John Halkias' rod. That rod is custom made for this fishing. And traditionally, that's the kind of rod you use. It's a stiff rod. It handles the heavy weight. It handles the big fish in the strong currents. And I'm going to use my fluke rod on this because I suspect with the 30-pound 8-strand braid and the cannonball sinker, I can keep my weight minimized, although it's handling 8 ounces, no problem for this because you don't have to jig it. And I want to see if I can winch up. I'm hoping to get some big blues that I can winch up from these depths. Now again, you drop to the bottom, you pick up a couple of cranks. If you start going deeper, you have to occasionally drop line again. Make sure you're within a couple feet of the bottom. The bucktail weight in this case, typically we use 1.25 ounces, 1.5 ounces. It's the sinker weight that gets your rig to the bottom. I think our lines might be touching.
Really?
Oh, there we go.
Good job. Double up. I mean, the rod is taking it, no issues. Not a striper.
This rod is way more than I think it is. All right, and the rod we're talking about is the Dark Matter John Skinner. I call it a fluke rod. I'm going to just have to call it a jigging rod. It was designed for fluke fishing. It took me over a year to get it right, several prototypes. If you follow my channel, you'll have seen us using it all this year, fluke fishing. But, I used it also on grouper in Florida, and people keep asking, well, how is it for blackfish? So I really wanted to get it out here and push on hopefully some big blues, and we'll get to those, but I'm really happy so far. And here's a look at the rip on the back side here. And this is some of the more treacherous water around Long Island comes through here in Plum Gut. So yeah, you need a good boat for this. Okay, the reel I'm using is a Maxell Hybrid 25. It's a great match, a lot of power, really nice for this.
Oh, nice. It's like the same fight as last time. Swimming out more. Bluefish?
Wow. Yeah, guess so. Yeah.
I got the de-hooker on the seat right by you. You gonna keep him?
No.
De-hooker is right here on the seat.
So another boat had a fish on the way up too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Ooh.
Whoa! Skinner!
I'm telling you, I used to do this.
I understand. I'm doing the same thing you are. Striper. Unbelievable.
I just haven't done it in, I don't know, 30 years? 25 years maybe? Yeah, I used to do a fair amount of this a long time ago, mostly at night. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun to get back on this, especially be able to see it all in the daytime. And this is ebb tide outgoing. The best tide depends on the time of the year. Typically over here it's better flood in the spring, ebb in the fall. There's no hard set rule there. What you don't want is wind against current. When we were coming through here in the morning, we made a stop, one drift, but the drift was terrible. The wind was holding it up. You know it's not a good presentation. Now we have a very light breeze with the current. Beautiful, perfect conditions for this. There you go. All right, a little better. Bluefish, huh? Seems like he's coming up.
Coming up real fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come behind you. Ah! Did we save each other?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you what, this rod is way more than a fluke rod. Holy smokes.
You know what? I have a charter tomorrow. I might just
I have a bigger version of what you had. In fact, there's a big boy, huh? And look how fast I got him up there, huh?
Yeah.
I got him. You just take care of the boat. Drop back down or do what you got to do. Come on, no. I got him. That's why you use 80-pound leader. Yeah, big blue. Good, that's what I wanted on the rod to test it. Look at that, butterfish. They're spitting up butterfish. There you go. Okay, and I mentioned the depth range being hundreds of feet on one side and hundreds of feet on the other side, and as shallow as 25 in between that. We are fishing generally 70 to 35 feet. Yeah, we're in deeper water here. This is deeper than we've been catching them, so. He is staying down.
Yeah, but I feel the head shake.
Big blue.
Ooh. Ha! Come on, break off. It's like the one you muscled up with.
Yeah, in shorter time, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you got one too. Huh. So we ran all that distance.
I know. That's the way it goes sometimes.
That's 10 miles from home. Ooh, good hook set.
And that's the Orient Point to New London ferry you see there in the background.
He's coming up. He's coming up. Yeah.
So what's not unusual here is that, we had bass on the beginning of the current or earlier in the current, and then this is like the middle of the tide and it's mostly blues, and I bet if we were to stay, I bet we'd get bass towards the end of the tide as well. Not a hard, fast rule, but it's something we've definitely seen many times before.
Bad one.
No, these are fun size, and they're letting me test, what I wanted to test.
Your first bass, to me, looked like a keeper.
Yeah, it might have been.
The
Yeah.
second one looked close. Probably a little short, but close.
There you go.
Terrible hook set. I was too far back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but I want to be right here to set the hook. There you go. That's how you set the hook.
Yep. Start low.
Yeah. Skinner, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but they're free.
Yeah. Hooks. Oh, yeah. Definite blue there.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted, though. I wanted to push this thing on big blues. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm real happy with that. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to catch big bass, but whoa. And this is like some of the more abusive fishing for a rod, so if not the worst that we do.
In the Northeast,
Yeah.
inshore,
Plum Gut. Yeah.
All right, a huge thanks to John Halkes for getting me out there. His charter business is justfishinglongisland.com. I'll have a link to that in the video description. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And check out my online fishing courses at saltstrong.com/Skinner.